Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up After Dark. Yeah.
Do you think that Keith knew when he made those little ditties that we were going to play it on every single episode from now on until the end of time?
Or that we would just absolutely love them so much? No, I don't think he knew that. I don't think he knew that, but I really love the jingles. So shout out to Keith and welcome everybody. This is your place for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions. And because it is an After Dark episode, this is the time we gather once a week when the employees go home. We can let our hair down, open our shirts, and do some altcoin research. Everybody in crypto is always saying, do your own research, DYOR. But what does that actually mean? Well, here is one way it can look. We've sourced a bunch of picks from our friends in the Discord server, and we want to tell you what we think about these tokens. So you can tell us if we were right, if we were wrong, if we missed the mark, if we nailed it. And hopefully we can all get a little clearer on what we're doing here as we spend our time with crypto tokens. If you're not in the Discord server, if you want to submit a pick for a future After Dark live show, that's the place to do it. You can find the link right here on the screen on TikTok or right here if you're watching on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. As you're getting in, Alex, do you want to read the token list just so people have an idea of some of the things we'll be going over? You want to hop right into it? What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think we should just send it. You know, people are going to kind of roll in.
They're going to kind of come in. Yeah,
we'll just keep a running tally.
And this is, I will say, the show like Whose Line, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. So when you hear this sound, that means somebody gets a point. And if you hear this sound or maybe this sound, it just means, you've suffered my displeasure. And at the end of the show, maybe there'll be a fabulous prize for whoever wins. Obviously, I'm playing, so good luck, Alex, because I'm my favorite. But you're
Fair
a close
enough.
second, man. You're a close second.
It's
You might
corrupt as hell.
It's corrupt as hell, but that's what we do. Rise Up After Dark. So, you wanted to get right into it with your meme message. This is like Alex putting on your dad hat, right?
Yeah.
To give us a little
Hats
talk.
On. Yeah,
no.
I just wanted to cover because we had some requests for memes. There's some new ones.
Okay.
And I thought this was a good opportunity to sort of like create a clippable moment as we go through kind of memes. So for the record, everything we're about to cover over the next couple of minutes applies to all memes. And I'll make a couple references for some for posterity. And then we'll cut this thing out, make it its own little standalone video, and be able to reference it forever. So I am Evan Stahl. I'm just pulling up a couple tabs.
While he pulls it up, let me tell you
a couple things. Yeah,
that if you leave a comment because you're like, oh, we're doing altcoin research, and we respond to you and say, hey, we've done this already on a previous episode, you might want to know, where can I find previous episodes of Rise Up After Dark? And the answer is on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/faceless_labs, or you can search Faceless Labs, or you can just remember the riseupmorningshow.com. riseupmorningshow.com. If you're already on YouTube, it's a playlist. If you're not on YouTube yet, it's easy to find. You can connect with us in the Discord. We got them all in order. We have done everything, it feels like, from Dogecoin and Shiba Inu to, I don't know. I think we've done Ton, we've done Velo, we've done Aerodrome, we've done half the tokens in the SUI network, a lot of the stuff you've seen on TikTok, DGen, etc. And if we tell you, hey, check out the After Dark playlist, we can try and get you a specific episode too, if you're in the Discord server, if you have a token that we don't cover tonight. And once more, if you do want to submit a token pick for a future episode for us to research, the best place to do it is in the Discord server, discord.gg/riseup, right here. Alex, are you ready?
Yes.
He's going to get his dad hat on, to which I say,
my dad can beat up your dad,
and
I will absolutely die on this hill.
So welcome, everybody. Car, you said Origin Trail. We have not covered it yet. I do believe that it is eligible, therefore, for a future show. If you want to see us covered on a future show, that's the way to do it. Throw it in the Discord.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you just said, the people who are in the Discord putting in these requests all week leading up to Wednesdays are the ones that get priority. So if there is time after we go through their list, we will absolutely take live requests. But the best way to make sure that your token gets on the list is just to join the free Discord.
It's free, baby.
Hey, man.
Love it.
My sister says, hold on, it's not morning. You are correct. It is not morning. Although it's morning somewhere.
And it's time to rise up. Eventually.
After dark.
After dark. That's right.
Yes.
So, Dad, you want to talk to me about these memes? I can't believe you went through my room.
Yes, I found some really unsavory tokens under your mattress.
Oh, no.
And we need to have a conversation about liquidity. It's time to talk about the birds, the bees, and liquidity pools. So I have cut memes. Okay, first disclaimer. I'll say this again later. I like memes in the same way that I like slot machines in Las Vegas. I don't always feel like pulling the lever, but when you do, it's fun. So that's it. That's all it is. Let's cut these things into 3 categories.
Okay.
And I'm going to, Evan, if you want to do your best to, point the screen at stuff, but if you want to see the full breakdown of these things, just for the record, we do stream this and every show live on both YouTube and Twitter at the same time. And that's
watch us on your TV.
Widescreen. And the screen share looks way better over there. So shout out. Let's pull this up and let's start at the top. We're going to start with the big one. So the big first category, there's not very many memes in this category. It's the blue chips. Which is just sort of a slang term for, the best of the best, the best in show. These are memes that I would say have achieved escape velocity. They are like, it's funny to say this about memes, but they are decentralized enough to where they're rug proof. This does not mean they're guaranteed up forever. It just means that it is impossible for one person to pull the rug out from underneath everyone and drain the liquidity pools in one fell swoop. So for the things in this category, you're going to notice we're not even just talking about one liquidity pool. These things have tons of them spread out all over different dexes. They are all over the place. These are household names. You're probably going to recognize, if you've been in around crypto for a minute, every single name in this category. Going down the list then, we need to come up with some catchy little titles for these things, but we've got then kind of, tier 2. These are like the ones that are in the running. Could they achieve escape velocity and become blue chips? It's certainly possible. Could we lose interest in them because they're kind of fresh? They haven't been around long enough to really say that they've withstood the test of time. Also fair. But these are ones that we might be able to speculate are like heading in the direction of blue chipness one day, and we could see a case where that happens.
Okay, got it.
Next would be last would be like, what? Actually, as I'm saying this out loud, maybe a case could be made that there's 4 categories.
Oh man, 4 categories, Dad! Come on.
I know. Well, just settle down. How many? There's millions of meme coins, Evan. So give me a break.
Yeah, you're right about that. There might even be a 5th category depending on where you go. I'm ready to take them all the way to the toilet.
No. This is going to be like hurricane categories. Once we get down to my bottom rung, it's going to include everything.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
The third category, which also is in the running for a trendy name, so feel free to throw in your nominations. You got
to tell me what it is first. Yeah.
Would be ones that are like, if you were to look me in the eye and tell me these things are about to be blue chips, I'd be like, listen, buddy, settle down. All right. Like they had a good pump. They kind of got to, the millions of market cap, but like, it could very well be flash in the pan. Like they made some moves. All right. Like, okay. Yeah. We recognize it. Good job. Way to make the pick. The one that I would put in this category, just to maybe paint a better picture, would be Chill Guy right now, because it's been super recent. Like it just happened. But undoubtedly, like it blew up. It is all over the place. There were some unique things about it, but like, look me in the eyes and tell me that you can guarantee me that Chill Guy's going to be here in 6 months. I would say that you're crazy. So that would be kind of the like, is it a flash in the pan, or is it gonna stick around for a minute? That would be third category. And then the bottom category, which I'm confident this is the bottom category, is what we're just going to call bullshit. And that's just like the things that, maybe they pumped a little bit, but liquidity is low. The audit score is sus. We've sniffed, like you definitely want to sniff this thing. It smells vaguely like shit. And they're sketchy as hell. But like, hey, if you're feeling degen, pull that lever. Just put your helmet on bullshit. First.
I am going to have a final category that I'm going to say for like straight rug pulls,
lower than bullshit.
Most community takeovers. Okay. I'm going to call it
the pit of despair.
And that's, just don't even touch it. Don't even touch it. Don't even think about touching it. If you say it in my comments, I might throw up on the show.
If you're talking about things that like we've now seen they did scam, I would say that everything starts as bullshit and then most of them go to the pit of despair, and like the tiniest little sliver become tier 3 where it's like flash in the pan, and then of that, the tiniest sliver of those become tier 2, and of that, a minuscule sliver, like almost nothing, becomes a blue chip.
Okay, so Alex, there are 10,000 tokens launched every day, maybe more by some metrics. Can you this is basically like a pyramid, you'd say, right? Where most of these 100%. Tokens, they fall into the bottom tier, and the higher up you go, the leaner and slimmer the pickings get.
As we talk about this type of investment, imagine, if you will, a pyramid.
Thanks, Michael Scott.
Are you familiar with the term Ponzi scheme? Because if so, boy, do I have a great investment opportunity for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's start with the blue chips because we can knock this one out pretty quickly. So let me throw up the screen share here, and then Evan, do your best to give us the bootleg version on TikTok.
Yeah, it's like being at the movie theater in 1999.
We're going to start with my favorite of the blue chips, Pepe.
Pepe. Okay, so what qualifies Pepe as a blue chip?
Okay.
We're going to get some of the numbers, I imagine, yeah?
Yeah. So first of all, Pepe has a market cap of just shy of $8 billion with a B dollars. Okay.
Big old number.
This frog has been around for a minute. And if we take this thing out to the week chart, like this thing launched in April of 2023, or at least, you know what? I can't even say that. This liquidity pool, this one particular pool on Uniswap, the ETH to Uniswap V2 Pepe wrapped ETH pool has been around since the 10th of April 2023. Pepe is, I'd have to look and see exactly when Pepe launched, but it was before that. So it's been around for a very long time by meme standards. This thing is a household name. It is traded on basically every exchange. This is one of those things, like the other ones in this category would be Doge, the granddaddy of memes. You have Shiba Inu, SHIB, another one that is just everywhere. Floki, also traded on most big exchanges. Pepe, honestly, I don't think you can really confidently put anything else in this one unless I'm forgetting a glaringly obvious one.
I feel like Dog with Hat or maybe Bonk, don't they have like a couple billion?
Yeah, that's fair. I would say that, I'm going to break my rules so hard. Evan's going to make fun of me literally forever. You said 3 categories and now you have 17. But like Whiff and Bonk and Floki. Did I say Floki? Floki probably,
Inu,
probably top.
So it's like the if we're talking this Pepe is an S tier, that's like an A tier.
Yeah.
Okay. I can abide by that.
I probably should have tier listed this thing instead of trying to go off and be a maverick and make my own categories.
No, dude, clever names are cool.
Anyway. Point is, there's not very many. Like, there's less than a dozen. And like Evan said, on a slow day, we're launching 10,000 new memes in that day. At the height of Solana meme season, when Pump.Fun was fresh and still had a new car smell, 250,000 new meme tokens were being created every single day on Pump.Fun. And 99.9% of them never even bonded. They just, went to 4K. Some guy stole it and then it rugged and went to 0. So in that sense, saying that there's like 6 or 7 that achieved meme status that carry, multi-billion-dollar market caps, not very many of them. A couple things I want to point out here. This one pool, like if you go to Deck Screener, by the way, shout out Deck Screener. The show is not sponsored by them, but it totally should be. You're going to see over here kind of this little handy info block where it just has a couple really basic things about it. And one of the, price in USD, price in ETH. Okay, we've got liquidity, touch on that in a second, fully diluted valuation, market cap. Those are the same. That's a great sign. All that means when you see market cap and FDV at the same number, that just means the entire token supply is in circulation. We've got volume, all that sort of stuff. We've got age, contact address, yada, yada, yada. The big number up here to pay attention to is this guy right here, liquidity. Now, like I said, Pepe in blue chip category has a bunch of pools. This is not the only one, but just in this pool, just in this liquidity pool, we have $31.7 million worth of Pepe and $31.7 million worth of ETH.
Wow.
So what that means is
It's
that
deep.
as you buy and sell this, you're buying and selling in and out of this pool, which means that if someone has, a wallet with a bunch of Pepe in it and it's worth $100,000, they need to have at least $100,000 worth of liquidity in the pool to even be able to sell that thing. That's why those screenshots of people showing you a wallet that has like $100 million worth of some nonsense token in it doesn't mean anything, because those things, as you'll see, have very tiny liquidity pools. You can't sell it. There's no one to sell it to. There's no pool to sell it into. It might be technically worth that, based on the market cap of the project. But if there's no money in it, hate to break it to you, you're not selling it. Market cap doesn't matter. Liquidity matters.
I wanted to pop back in to say, if you want a deeper dive on that, we do have a 15-minute video on the YouTube channel where we take a slower walk through Dex Screener and the Meme Coin Casino to talk about the metric of liquidity, specifically what it is, differentiating it from market cap. If you're new or you're just starting to kind of play around in crypto and meme coins specifically, it's kind of like a helmet or a little extra padding for your elbows. You'll be glad you watched it.
Yeah, we like to say that, playing in the Meme Coin Casino is like pulling the lever on a slot machine, except unlike Las Vegas, these slot machines have a man standing next to them holding a baseball bat, trying really hard to hit you in the face. And the best thing that you can do is put on more and more protective equipment before you pull the lever.
What could go wrong?
That are that protective equipment. That's the equivalent of putting on a helmet.
Yeah.
If you're looking for us on YouTube, just search Faceless Labs on YouTube and you will find the channel.
That's right.
Okay. So that's the blue chips. That's the blue chips.
I almost think we should skip past some of the other ones, because that was kind of a long overview. And we've got,
for the record,
we've got about 12 tokens on our list.
We don't need to go into this much detail on any of the other ones. I'm just going to give you an example of a token in each category, and we'll call it good. Okay,
great. So the next category is A, or tier 2.
Yep. And let's do. How do you feel about putting WIF in this one? Because that's kind of where my head went.
What's the market cap on WIF? I think my instinct says yes.
That's the wrong one.
But my body is telling me, what's it say?
Oh my God, there's so many WIF derivatives.
There's so many WIF derivatives. Yeah, of course there are. So
many WIFs.
Moodang WIF hat.
Moodang WIF hat. Dog WIF hood. Dog WIF hat.
Oh my God.
Come on. Give me the big one. WIF is a Solana native, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't come up for you immediately.
Dex Screener, what the heck? These are supposed to be sorted by some sort of relevance. How are you doing this to me? Let's just go to Solana's page then.
While Alex is pulling this up, I'm going to explain QFS really quick for that commenter. Thank you for asking. If you are new to crypto, especially, or if you're not new to crypto, you might hear about something called the Quantum Financial System, aka QFS. People will say something like, have you set up your Quantum wallet yet? Anybody who tells you this is at best misinformed and at worst actively trying to scam you. There is no such thing as the Quantum Financial System. It is a conspiracy theory that has been used to target people and take a lot of money. I could name at least 6 times that somebody has messaged me to tell me that they have lost money because they signed up for a QFS wallet, they gave their seed phrase, or it was exposed, they clicked a bad link. So if you see QFS, whoever is promoting it, you should just unfollow them unless you are watching them like you watch a soap opera, because that person is not your teacher. QFS is a scam. I'm going to give myself a point for that. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Alex,
okay.
Match up.
So WIF is at just over 3 billion.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I would put it in the A category then for sure.
Okay. So, I would put Bonk in this category too. These are things that have crossed into the billions. They haven't quite been around long enough to say like it's survived a cycle, went through a bear market and came back, like Pepe did, like Shib did, like Floki did, like Doge did, that kind of thing. So, up there, probably heading for escape velocity, will probably be around for a while. Could settle down and end up, maintaining at 1 billion. Like, who knows? Whatever. These are memes. The rules are made up and the points don't matter. And
on that note, somebody said, give yourself another point, because that was really helpful. So I think I will.
This game is rigged, I tell you. So that's really all we're looking at for this category. Stepping down to the next one, I would say that we've got, just to keep it topical,
And this
look
is the
at
tier 3, like the B. You might spend some time there. This is not the bullshit category yet, is it?
No, this is like, honestly though, I was tempted to put, like Chill Guy and Peanut and Moodang and stuff like that in that they've like kind of been around for a minute, and like they're not gonna rug, but like we're not A tier. We're still kind of,
Yeah, and I would say
sketchy.
like
We're sketchy.
Moodang is good because like it could be a flash in the pan. Moodang has the same kind of market cap action, or it had, or even like, I don't know, Based God or something like that. If it's been a flash in the pan, and if it has a big market cap but it hasn't been long enough, or it's been around a while but it's smaller, that's where I'd like start to put stuff in this category. And we're talking like millions here, aren't we, Alex?
Yeah. So Moodang, for example, is at $449.9 million market cap with $10 million of liquidity. So it's pretty solid, but it's only been around, for just a couple months. It's done this, huge run up. It went down for a while. It pumped like crazy, went down, pumped like crazy, went down. Who knows? Like, it's less sus than bullshit. It's got what I would call a humongous market cap for a meme, but to say that this thing is like, A tier, I think would be getting ahead of ourselves. So that's kind of this we've graduated out of bullshit. We're not bullshit anymore, but we're not a mainstay.
Excellent. Okay, got it.
So, points to keep aware of here. We've got healthy liquidity. We've got tons of volume. We've got a big market cap. That's really what we're looking for here. We've got multiple liquidity pools across different dexes. That's it. If we sniff this thing, it's not like an immediate rug. It's not going to rug, which does not mean, again, this is the most important disclaimer I can give for the night. When I say this thing is not going to rug, that does not mean it's not going to go to zero. It means it's not going to go to zero in one candle. Because a rug implies that someone has the potential to pull all the liquidity out of this pool, drain it in one fell swoop, and send the token to zero. That's a rug pull. Bleeding to zero because no one cares anymore and there's funnier, cooler, trendier things happening. That's not a rug. That just is a meme going the way of attention dying. So
excellent.
Also important to say, I would say that everything in this category is rug proof. It's not rug zero proof. It's rug proof. Okay. Let's go to bullshit.
Oh no.
And that's just bullshit.
And while Alex pulls something BS up, what are you looking for? What are you going to find?
This is actually the perfect thing because it is currently 8:30. We have been live for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I put this on the watch list to use in the bullshit category at the top of the hour. And since then it rugged. So this is a perfect example of bullshit. Not ideal.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay, the candle.
And hang on, let me get it for our TikTok friends.
There's the candle. So
God.
Let's go down to the 5 minute. Oh, actually, it only lived for 10 minutes. So here we go. Okay. So honestly, I was really hoping that this was going to rug before we got here so that I could make this point.
And really quickly, it's called Calm Guy. Someone asked for the contract address, but I'm not going to give it to you because I'm
not going to give you the contract address because it rugged.
And if you want to see a bad contract, we can give you other options in Discord for sure.
Yeah. If you want to see a bad contract address, go to Deck Screener, sort by new pairs, click the 5 minute list, and all you're going to see is a giant list of rug pulls.
Pretty much.
Here you go. This one, as you can see, has no liquidity. It's got $5 in the pool. Okay. There's no market cap. It is at zero. It's down, 95% in the last 25 minutes. So all that means is that someone, and here actually you can see, here's the rug pull transaction itself 18 minutes ago. So this thing literally just lived for 7 minutes. And someone,
the transaction, tell us how you know it. It's hard to see on my TikTok phone, so you might need to narrate a little.
No worries. So you can come down here on Deck Screener and see the transaction list in real time. You can see buys and sells. Dude, Godspeed to this guy who bought after the rug was pulled, you know what? Go off.
Oh my God, that might have been Pending, because Pending said, "Diamond handed, it'll pump." I'm giving Pending a point for that. Thank you very much.
All this means, and actually the rug was pulled in 2 steps. So the biggest holder sold right here, and then from there the rest of the liquidity was drained right after that. And you can see actually Deck Screener now flags these things as remove instead of just sell, which is kind of nice little addition.
That is so great. If they were going to sponsor us, I'd give them a point for that.
For real. This is what I mean by bullshit. So when you're pulling the slot machine, you know, you go over to Deck Screener, click new pairs, spin the wheel, throw a dart, and you know what? This one deserves $5. It's probably going to go to 0, but you know, flush the toilet.
Flush the toilet.
Here we go. Honestly, that's it. I feel like that's a pretty solid thing. So whenever someone asks me thoughts on meme, the most I'm going to tell you is, you know, it's a blue chip, it's tier 2, you know, it's tier 3, or it's bullshit. And we'll come up with some names. But like at the end of the day, there's no other thoughts. That's it.
No, I'm kind of feeling a bit of despair. But mostly, Alex, I just want to say that was really fantastic. I'm going to give you a point and another point for being willing to drive Deck's Screener. So thank you very much for that. And Pending, thanks for the gifts. I'm giving Pending another point for that. The point total stands at me 2, you 2, and Pending 2. It could be the first audience member victory tonight.
It could be. We're well on our way. That's better than Evan winning, as he hands himself a trophy and high fives himself on his way out of the studio tonight.
Yeah, that's my job, brother. That's my job.
All right, let's get on to
we got a whole list of
actual
tokens.
altcoin reviews. Yes, we've got a whole host of tokens. So Evan, do you want to pick one at random out of the hat, or do you want to just actually, you know what? Maybe we should just start with kind of the funny one, because this one was nominated by Rocket Man, and in parentheses after it he wrote just for shits and giggles. So let's start with IOTA.
IOTA. Okay, Alex. Why don't you tell me a little history story about IOTA, and I'll tell people after you give me the historical context, kind of where it is now.
Yep. So let's toss the. I prematurely shut off the screen share. Let's pop that bad boy back up so we can look at the IOTA homepage.
Let me flip my camera around again. Hang on, TikTok.
Okay. Let me talk to you about IOTA. Let me tell you a story.
Tell me a story, Dad.
Last bull run, IOTA became a little bit infamous. And I want to make this clear. There's no evidence to suggest that this was done by the team, but there's also no evidence to suggest that it wasn't. So take that for what you will. I'm in several Telegram groups with influencers. I've since been removed and not invited to the new ones. A lot of the time, because people generally don't like me because I don't play well with other TikTokers about crypto. Sorry. But at that point in 2021, I was still friends with people. They hadn't fired me yet. And there was this effort wherein an email went out to pretty much everybody with a public email address and a social media platform that talked about crypto, including little old me at the time, who did not have much of a platform. And it was a pump effort for IOTA from an anonymous group of whales. And basically the plan was just to shill the ever-loving shit out of IOTA for no reason. And also it came with the specific instructions not to disclose that we were all working together. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds legit. Let's have every crypto TikToker post a video about IOTA at the exact same time and just hope that no one notices we all did it on the same day.
Who's going to know? They'll never know.
Who's going to know? I think the comment that I left was like, you guys are literally just assuming that everyone in the audience is an absolute moron. This is the stupidest plan I've ever heard. Not to mention, it's illegal. So right then and there, I basically decided that I never wanted anything to do with IOTA. Since then, here's basically what IOTA's done. And fact check me, fact check yourself, brother.
Fact check yourself, brother. I'm on it, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go back and look through like IOTA's history. Basically, every time a narrative has started to trend, they were like, hey, that's what we do. Weird. So as you can see from their homepage now, they are embracing AI and AI agents and data. And that wasn't the plan a year ago, which also wasn't the plan 2 years ago, which also wasn't their plan 3 years ago. They've done it all.
Masters of the pivot.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've never seen a compelling reason to give a shit about this project. And I think we should all just pat it on the head and walk away.
Yeah. Yeah, and just for like numbers, because everything you say is good here. This is the kind of project, it kind of gives me AIOZ vibes, except AIOZ is like a more harmless version. There are a lot of tokens, especially if you're new and you're coming into crypto for the first time, you know, on the back of the Bitcoin pump or the election, you're going to see a lot of tokens like IOTA that sound good. Like you'll say to yourself, oh, wow, a crypto company that's doing AI or that's doing like decentralized social media, they're going to have YouTube, but it's owned by the creators. Like that sounds like a really good idea. But if they've been around for multiple cycles and they keep reinventing themselves and they're using all the buzzwords and they don't really have a product, all they have to sell you is a token, that's a big red flag. You should almost always just run. Like some of those tokens will pump, but it's like throwing a dart at the board. It's totally a hype thing. It's not because they have a real product. What's so funny?
This bullshit roadmap is just making me laugh. So here's a whole bunch of stuff that's been
read me the roadmap.
Released. I've never heard of any of this. All of this is like new and revamped and whatever. Shimmer EVM chain, like, oh, we're also gaming, I guess. So there's play to earn games and community innovation. Like,
yeah,
dude, what? Upcoming, later, scaling. That's really funny to me.
Sounds like Benyu and Minku wrote that. So, no shade, Benny.
Yeah, basically, yeah, a little bit of shade, Benny. Anyway,
But you know, you're going to see them a lot because they're number 120 by market cap at 620 million. They got a lot of salty bag holders because they've been around since 2015, and they have a roadmap that's going to hit a lot of stuff. They have the buzzwords. They are continuing to enhance their Internet of Things capabilities, focusing on scalability, security. They'll probably tell you that they've got more transactions per second soon. You know what I mean? I don't know, Alex. What would you give it as a grade?
I'm starting off with my no. I'm so uninterested in this. I don't know, like nothing comes to mind. If you were to ask me like what could they do to win my trust back and like come back on a watch list for me? No.
Okay.
I'm done. Pack it up.
It's a no. It's a no from Alex, and honestly, I'm gonna give it a no too. And Alex, per our friend Whoa Damn It, I am going to give you a point because you are showing maximum pain. So that's a point for you. Somebody asked for AIT protocol. We did review, I do believe, ASI or maybe AIT. I don't remember. We've talked about it before on the show. I don't know that we've graded it. So if we have time at the end, we can burn through a couple of these pretty quick. We'll definitely do AIT protocol. And if you have a token pick, check out the Discord because that's the place to submit our picks. We're giving preference to that. It's totally free to join. All that's missing is you. What do you say, Alex? Shall we move on to a token? I've got one pulled up.
Yep. So if you're just joining us, the recording will live on YouTube forever, and we can discuss all of these things later in Discord. But so far, we did a total meme overview where we broke them up into categories, and then we just went through IOTA because there was a quote for shits and giggles request for it in the Discord today, or the other day rather, and it just gets a no. Yeah. So let's keep it pushing. Evan, which one do you want to do next?
I have got Lively token. This is LVLY. And I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm going to give you some stats. This is a social media play that aims to empower creators. There have been a couple of other tokens that have tried to do this kind of thing. Most recently, one that's coming to mind for me is Chile token. AIOZ could be in this category. We've seen niche attempts at making social media more equitable for creators. This is a real good problem, honestly, for blockchain to solve. And when people when people crack this nut, it's going to be a YouTube sized company. I honestly think it's a social fi platform. And that's maybe like a yellow flag for me, because the pitfall of a lot of these platforms is they have this token, and it's a monetary token, and it usually is like watch to earn or create to earn. And what happens with any kind of blank to earn incentive, play to earn, walk to earn, move to earn, whatever, is it tends to create a race to the bottom, right, Alex? Like people get the money, then they sell it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a flawed model that we just haven't cracked yet in the industry, wherein you want the thing to be plentiful. You want a bunch of people to come to your platform and get this thing and use this thing and tip people with it and whatever. There's a lot of examples of these that I don't have any issues with the tokens themselves. Like Degen is a cool token. There's a bunch of tipping tokens in the Warpcast, Farcaster ecosystem that I have zero issues with at all, but they're not like going to be good investments because they're not meant to be. They're meant to be useful tokens that you want to get a bunch of and then use them. Basic attention token, Machinery just pointed out, BAT. That's another one that just like I defy you to find like an issue with it that's not tokenomics and supply, which is funny to say that like that, but really, when you really break down utilitarian tokens, they've got to have kind of bad tokenomics when you think about it, because you need a bunch of people to be able to get their hands on it real cheap. You need high velocity, and they got to be able to use them quickly and get more. And that's how they work well, but that doesn't necessarily make for number go up. So that's kind of a problem.
Well said. Pending is getting another point because they said they remember that during the last bull run, there were so many to earn tokens. I think there might have even been a shit to learn token. So point for that. Thank you very much for making me laugh. However, I will say this is a narrative that has a lot of potential. Some company will solve this problem. So here's what Lively is doing. They've got a Lively token, ERC20 utility token on the Base network. So that's cool. I like that you're using an L2. I like that you're using Base. A lot of people are trying fun experiments on Base, and it does a lot of things. It does payments, does tipping. You can use it to get access to exclusive content. And if you use the Lively token, you're going to get reduced transaction fees. And also you can convert it to fiat directly from your profile. So it sounds kind of like how Dracula was integrating Degen, for example, back in the day. And it's trying to do Web 2 experience with like tokens. Creators generate revenue through memberships, tips, live stream selling, kind of like TikTok. And you can pay in fiat, or you can use many different kinds of crypto tokens. But they're just trying to incentivize you with different perks to use Lively. You can get it on Mexi, you can get it on Uniswap, Gate.io. It's 17 cents a token with a 24-hour trading volume of $868,000. So people are paying attention here. Lively's got support from a number of institutional investors. So some interesting partners, Cypher Capital, which is a pretty prominent venture capital firm. Phoenix Group, one of the largest Bitcoin miners globally. And it looks like they have an airdrop campaign too, $3 million airdrop campaign. They distributed 20 million Lively tokens in August to engage users and promote platform adoption. I would be curious to see what the chart looked like after that. And I'd also want to see, if I was going to look at this next, Alex, before I kick it to you, I'd go to Warpcast first of all, because Warpcast, if you're not familiar with it, is like a Twitter clone for people on Base, basically. Yeah. It's a lot of Web3 founders. They probably have a presence there, and people are probably talking very cogently about it there. I'd want to see how many daily active users do they have. I'd want to try the platform for myself and see if it's fun. And, then I'd want to check out the tokenomics and see, is it just a race to the bottom? What about you?
Yeah, these, I kind of share, my sentiment that I would have with this, with a bunch of other stuff, wherein I don't see anything that's really a red flag for me as far as like the token, its legitimacy is concerned. But if we were to break this up into the two kinds of scores you'd apply to something like this, like token viability versus investability, those are two very different things. It's like you said, Evan, like could this thing pump? Yeah, of course it could. I struggle a little bit to see the real potential for it to meaningfully increase in value, beyond kind of like, hey, everything's pumping, let's throw a couple X's on this bad boy and call it a day.
Unless the app is fun to use, right? Like if they actually have a good app, That to me would be like number one reason I would spend more time there.
Yeah. Although, you know, and DGen is an interesting example because recently it's done better, but still down relatively bad from, you know, where it was not that long ago, earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I would say that Warpcast is a great user experience overall. I would say that a bunch of stuff in the Farcaster universe has a pretty good user experience. They've managed to get and keep a lot of users over there. And it still doesn't necessarily just mean that we're going to the moon with these tokens. And kind of like I said before, it's SocialFi, like it's important. Whoa, damn it! And in the comment asks, what makes this special? Is it just because it's on base? And I said, you know, so the answer is no, not necessarily. But it's a valiant crack at a legitimate problem. You know, there's not a ton of legitimate problems that cryptos are being used to solve. I think that social media and creator incentive structures are one of those things. And like we've said several times now, so I won't belabor the point, it just hasn't been done meaningfully yet in a way that I can point and be like, this is the winner. You know what I mean?
I'm giving you a point for that. I think for people who don't understand Web 2 social media, you know, the way we do things on the internet now, you access everything for free, but you own nothing. YouTube owns it all. TikTok keeps most of the money.
Real problem.
It's a real problem. And the promise of crypto is not just number go up for bettors, but you have an opportunity using tokens, using a blockchain intermediary instead of, you know, a CEO at a company to redistribute ownership of a tool, of a network to the people who use it. And that's something we can all get excited about. So honestly, Alex, I would give this token a wait and see grade. Like that's so boring.
But it is boring, but
I would want to see where it goes.
Sensationalist. Yeah. These are honest answers here. So I think that's fair. That's what I would say too. I would grade it in the middle of the pack. I would grade it as a C. It's kind of at that tipping point for me. Like, you know, it could continue to just flatline and be uneventful. You know, and I also wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, hey, user retention is picking up on the platform. You know, some more eyes are coming here. Platform is looking a little bit more viable, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds good. So wait and see. Let us know what you'd grade that in the comments. And then Alex, do you want to pull up the next token to surprise us? And I will let folks know one more time. If you're joining us for the first time or you're coming back again, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We're taking token picks from the folks in our free Discord server, and we will add yours if we have time. I saw AIT. I've got Simp on the bottom of the list here. If you don't have the time to hang around and wait for it, or you know you're going to jump in Discord, be sure to leave your pick there because there's a whole community of learners at all levels of experience just like you, and they, I know, would love to give feedback if they've heard of it. And I would ask you, if you're going to leave a pick, let us know what you think about it. Let us know why you like it or why you're paying attention to it. And don't forget to give your grades too, because as Pending is finding out, I'm giving away points. And like I said, it could be the first time an audience member actually wins. I'm losing and I'm not going to give myself a point. I need to do something sensational. Alex, set me up for like a home run here. What token are you taking us to next?
So I've never seen this thing before. I've never heard of it before it was pitched to us to review. I hope that it wasn't pitched to me in the Discord because someone is holding a fat bag of this. And Evan, here's a chance for you to get a point. Give me your immediate reaction to this.
Oh, I got the loading spinning wheel. He's pulling it up on YouTube. What am I going to see? Oh my God.
So here, you talk about it for a second while I turn the TikTok camera around to show the TikTok folks what this chart looks like.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we're looking at a token that's called Farcana, and it looks like they're trying to build some gaming culture. It looks like maybe a community or platform, like a launch pad for different games. They claim to capture a culture and connect the best in the Web3 space. Incredible partnerships like Wayfinders, W3GG, and other amazing gaming communities. I'm not entirely sure what their token is used for, but if I had to guess, I would say they were backed by early investors and venture capitalists. And then when the token went public, those people wanted to make some money, so they dumped it back in February. And this is a cursed chart, man, because everybody who looks up this token is going to see that there are a bunch of salty bag holders. Whenever you see a token whose chart looks like this, where it starts off high and then it just goes to a flat line way low, that means that there are a lot of people who are hanging on. Alex, I can't quite see on the screen. Oh, there it is. Market cap of 8.75 million. That means there are $8.75 million of people waiting for this price to go back up. So if you buy, there's a pretty tremendous amount of sell pressure. Now, of course, on the opposite side, if they do something cool in their ecosystem, they get a killer game, maybe this is your time for a great entry. But there are lots of great tokens that have a bad chart like this that's weighed them down. The most notable one that comes to mind is ICP. Hard to find cooler tech than ICP in a lot of ways, but for speculators, it's just not that exciting.
Yeah.
What do you know about this token?
Really quick, just for Kyler in the chat, who says this portfolio is trash. If the tokens that we had talked about tonight were someone's portfolio, I would throw them a pity party, because
Not ideal.
I agree, it would be awful. That is, however, not what this is. It's just kind of a random smattering of altcoins from the people in the Discord who were curious to get opinions on stuff. These all come from different people, and this is not like a full portfolio review.
Real quick, do you see Joe's comment here too? Alex, launched in the heat of the gaming hype last year, they were supposed to award BTC in, I imagine, in game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I asked.
Sounds
He
like
said he
later on.
had remembered that one, so I asked for some insights. It's supposed to award Bitcoin in their games. I think your read is right. VCs and early investors probably killed it. Unfortunate, but honestly, that kind of extractive nature, especially in the field of Web3 gaming, is unfortunately all too common, and big bummer. I mean, I wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole.
Crypto Machinery says, I don't know if it's any better. This is basically a snapshot of everyone's portfolio. So Crypto Machinery, as a consolation prize, you get a point. And Christina asks, so is ICP a total loss? Not sure, Christina Watson. Who knows? It would really help if they got a killer app or something to justify a lot of people's attention, because right now they're spending marketing money, they're courting developers, and they're having a hard time talking to consumers who might have a problem they could solve in a meaningful way. They have some tough stuff. Their canister system is cool, but it's limited in some ways. Could they pump? Will they pump? Almost certainly. Don't you think so, Alex? Like, they're on the front page of the internet. There's a lot of social media content about ICP. And
Probably.
I would expect, since they're down so far, but they're up so high on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, that as people are looking for places to buy crypto, as they might mistakenly think I'm too late to Bitcoin.
Well,
Yeah,
and I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the project and the company, the foundation, might be doing really good work, but like, how necessary is the token is sort of the conversation you have to have with these things. So, like, why would it pump? Well, like you said, it might pump because it's high up on the market cap list, and a bunch of people could look at it and be like, oh my God, it's all-time high. It was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'll risk it. And, that's the full context of their decision, their investment thesis. So that's kind of a bummer. It like you said, it's a legitimately interesting and exciting ecosystem that is weighed down by an awful, 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 awful chart.
I got a ding one for Nick Johnson, who's here. He says, easy, ICP, easy. Nick, we love ICP, man, but it's tough. And I would say if you want to have a good conversation about ICP with somebody who spends more time there than we do, because we're just two guys sharing our opinions on the internet, Nick is a good guy to talk to, real reasonable guy, shares thoughtful opinions, and is pretty deep in the ICP ecosystem. Might be a good time for you if you like that kind of thing. Alex, I don't know, man. This is it's not even a no for me. So I don't know what letter you give that, but I'm ready to move on to the next token. What about you?
I'm just, this is not good.
This is not ideal. Now I want to set us up for success. So I want to can we do optimism next? Because I feel like I'm going to have a much more optimistic reaction to it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That was the worst joke I've made all night, but I might make a worse one. So stick around. So optimism, for people who don't know, is a layer 2 on the Ethereum network. The website, if you want to play along, is optimism.io. It's a scaling solution for Ethereum. And their whole thing is they want to reduce transaction fees, increase speed by utilizing, as their name might imply, a technology called an optimistic rollup. This is a little slower than another type of rollup called a ZK proof, or another type of mechanism called the ZK proof, because it's not exactly the same thing. But basically what they're doing is they're processing transactions and information off chain and then submitting them in a batch to Ethereum mainnet. So they alleviate network congestion while also capitalizing on the great security and decentralization of the Ethereum network. And if you're new, don't get lost in the weeds and the buzzwords. You'll hear these kinds of things over and over. You can write it down and we can slow down for you anytime. But what you need to know is that Ethereum or any blockchain network, they're like cities. They all have different architecture. They all have different utilities. And some of them are built for different purposes. Some of them are industrial cities. Some of them are like entertainment cities like Las Vegas. Ethereum is like a New York City. There is so much stuff to see and do there. There are many people of all different kinds of businesses, lots of places to go and things to do. Many books have been written about it. And the layer twos are like buildings in the city of Ethereum. Instead of having to drive from one side of the city to the other side of the city, they say, hey, in this building, we got a grocery store, we got a barbershop, we got a movie theater, we got a bunch of stuff you can see and do. So it's cheaper for you if you live in that building to do stuff there than it would be for you to drive across the whole city. Layer twos like Optimism, they scale the Ethereum network. And I will tell you, I am a holder of Optimism because I got an airdrop of Optimism for playing Crypto the Game. I haven't bought it, but I hold it. Go ahead.
Nope.
No, back and forth. We're good.
Okay. I was just going to, why optimistic roll up? There's, like Evan said, there's different methodologies for scaling Ethereum. And the reason that the word optimism is being used here is because of the way that because of the way that optimistic rollups handle the transaction. So like Evan said, transactions happen on ETH. It's slow and expensive. These scaling solutions take those transactions, handle it for Ethereum, and then hand it something that is more efficient to reduce costs and increase efficiency. The reason that they say optimistic is because instead of immediately checking the validity of every transaction individually, optimistic rollup, and this is where I think there could be an interesting conversation if you wanted to get more technical, which honestly I'm not really that qualified to do. It assumes that the transaction is valid, assumes the best, and only initiates a deeper check if a fraud concern is raised.
Yeah, so if one of the validators says, I don't have that.
Yeah, if one of the validators raises an issue, the check is initiated. But we sort of assume that it's good and send it and then check later. So it's one methodology. There are a bunch of them. Like Evan said, ZK, zero knowledge, is a different method. And scaling solutions on Ethereum is a very rich topic that deserves an entire week of shows at minimum. We talked about it on the show this morning a little bit. It's a dense topic.
Yeah. And as Joe mentions, the OP token here, it's a governance token. It's not a very sexy token. It's the kind of token that people are using. And so like Alex said earlier, they need to be able to acquire. Speculators aren't as interested in it because people are just using it for business. It is a big narrative though around optimism specifically. So if you're an investor who's bullish on like the scaling of Ethereum, this would be one you might want to pay closer attention to. Optimism and Base, they're part of this narrative that has given them significant growth because of this vision they have for what's called the super chain, a unified network of blockchains that aims to support internet scale activity through their OP stack. It's an open source, proprietary, but anybody can use it technology stack that a lot of people have built a lot of stuff on, including folks over at Base, backed by Coinbase, ton of volume, ton of usage. So unlike other, IOTA says we're going to build this thing. We've got a roadmap. We're very fast. We're very cheap. XRP says that we're going to partner with all the banks. Here is proof in the pudding. If you look at their on-chain metrics, how many people use this, how many builders are here, how many apps are built on top of this, the results, they really speak for themselves. And they got a lot of good incentives for developers. They got documentation. They got resources available to help you deploy your applications. It's super cheap. I think they refund your gas and do stuff like that. So I would definitely pay more attention. And the fact that I have some in my portfolio has caused me every now and then to take a look. If I had more capital to deploy, honestly, I would be looking at deploying capital into narratives like Ethereum scaling. I would be looking to buy tokens like Optimism, Arbitrum, and honestly, the one I'm most bullish on right now is Eigenlayer. So for me, this is like it checks a lot of my boxes personally because there's proof in the pudding. You got anything else to add, Alex, or do you want to give it a little bit of a gritty grade?
Nope. I was just I tossed up here on the screen share on YouTube. But for all of you on TikTok, I'm just looking at the DeFi Llama page for the Optimism ecosystem, showing that there is relatively healthy TVL, total value locked, which is a measure of all the money in that ecosystem, in a bunch of different capacities, which you can see if you scroll down on the list a little bit. You can see all the different protocols ranked by how much money is on them. So, Aave taking the top, followed by Synthetics, honestly, not too far below. And then honestly, not too far below that is Velodrome. And these things are kind of carrying the bulk of the liquidity, or excuse me, the total value locked on Optimism. But good breakdown here. You can see a fee and revenue breakdown, which is not something that every ecosystem can boast. So honestly, that's good. We're looking at $1.25 billion worth of market cap for stablecoins in the optimistic ecosystem, and they're making 20 grand a day, which is not bad in fees.
54,000 active addresses, like that's hot.
Not amazing, not bad, especially when you look at how much revenue lots of cryptocurrency ecosystems are making. There's it's not a huge list of projects making notable revenue.
And I would say too, something a lot of people do who want to invest in this, like a play, and that you can use DeFi Llama to kind of find for yourself. That list that Alex showed us there of all those different protocols that are building there. The highest one has 169 million TVL. The lower the TVL, generally speaking, for a DeFi protocol like Aave or Synthetics or whatever, the stronger the incentive is for you, the user, to go provide liquidity there or do other DeFi stuff there. The more, if they have incentives, like Optimism has incentives, and they're trying to get activity on their chain, liquidity on their chain, they're going to pay you more than somebody like, I don't know, PancakeSwap or Uniswap on ETH, where everybody uses it all the time. They really don't need more liquidity to do their job. These people need tokens. They need liquidity to provide the services that make them money. So they're willing to give you a little more. A very popular DeFi play is that people will just go on Ethereum and they'll find the layer 2 connections on a site like Aave or Curve, and they will just search the pools. They will search, where can I park my ETH right now to get the best yield? Where can I park my stable coins right now to get the best yield? Where can I park my Optimism tokens? And because it's easy to swap between tokens on a layer 2, to go from Optimism to Arbitrum or whatever, they will just hop to the next pool. They'll check it every day. This one's going to give me 30% APY for the week. Great. That's where I'm living this week. I'm going to go somewhere else next week, or I'm going to take my LP tokens and leverage them. This is, if you're new, this is level 2 stuff. And I've said a lot of buzzwords to you, but because the Ethereum token is not really going anywhere, this is a pretty stable way for people who know how to move their stuff on a blockchain to, we call it yield farm. They're earning high APY by capitalizing on, who's paying the best incentive right now.
Yep.
And we do have a course for that, how to DeFi. I won't give you the commercial for it, except to say, if you're interested in learning about this kind of stuff, you got to jump in the Discord community. It's totally free to get over there. And we would love to answer your questions about this to help you become a more self-sufficient researcher and investor. Okay, Alex, I haven't given away any points in a minute. I'm starting to feel a little bit free.
I mean,
I need you to do something impressive.
I'm not gonna argue with it. No, I think I'm pretty well met on Optimism here. It's solid. I'm ready to grade it if you want.
Yeah, grade it. I would give it a B, maybe a B plus.
No, I'm thinking B plus for sure. It's the only thing I can really ding it on would be whether or not you agree that optimistic rollups are the best strategy or a viable strategy. Unless can you point out any specific issues with it? The problems here would not be the thing is a scam, the thing's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, there's no users, there's no projects, there's no money, there's no whatever. You can't say any of that. What you can say is that hey, I'm an engineer, I'm a developer, I don't like optimistic rollups for XYZ. I prefer something else.
Yeah, or something else is out competing it. And to go back to your meme analogy, that would make it in my mind like a second tier or to high third tier thing. Like it's still kind of wait and see maybe, but and if you feel like you missed the bus, I saw whoa damn it said I missed the bus. I don't think you've missed the bus on this. I think this is an active and growing ecosystem where lots of stuff is happening, and not just stuff in terms of optimism token, but somebody's going to launch a token there, and you could be early to it if you're paying attention.
Yep, it's a good B+ for me.
It's a good solid B+. Okay, so we've done IOTA, we've done Lively, we've done Farcana, we've done Optimism, and you've given us a great meme talk. Where do you want to head next with this thing?
Well, I was thinking let's hit we had a couple gaming tokens on the list, and I just want to say kind of a quick overview of like the gaming. Maybe we can just kind of talk about gaming plays in general and sort of give that overview, because there's a lot of tokens who are involved here. And I think we have a relatively concise explanation of like gaming ecosystem versus individual game.
Yeah.
And the ones that we got requests for this week are Superverse and Sandbox. Sandbox being kind of more of the dinosaur in it. And there's over on Twitter, there's a really, really good Twitter space called Gamified, and another one called Simplified. They are hosted by Sam Stefanina of Wolves DAO. Fantastic. That's where you want to go. You want to learn about Web3 gaming. Sandbox is a meme amongst those guys, amongst the Web3 gaming natives. Matt Stefanina, Sam's brother, is famous for having a piece of land like really close to Snoop Dogg in the Sandbox. And I love Matt, but they bag on him pretty hard for it. And it's like a classic bumper sticker to be like, I swear to God, Matt, if I have to hear how close your house is to Snoop Dogg's, I'm gonna lose it.
If I have to hear one more time, yeah.
So
oh my God, that's terrible.
It's one of those things like where okay, if you're unfamiliar, Sandbox is kind of rose to popularity amongst the metaverse narrative last bull run, which is not a narrative that really came back at all this time around.
No.
You've got Sandbox, you've got Decentraland. There's a few others that are kind of in that, but those are the big ones. Those are the ones you've probably heard of. Metaverse land was like a trendy narrative, not just in tokens for these ecosystems, but also as a methodology to sell NFTs. And I will just say to Nick in the comments over here that says it has terrible graphics, RuneScape has like 200 million users lifetime. More now. That was the stat from a little while ago. And its graphics are notoriously bad. How many users does Roblox have? Roblox has terrible graphics. Graphics do not matter in gaming. Graphics do not matter. Graphics do not matter.
Giving you a point for that, man.
Matters. I couldn't give less of a shit what the quality of the graphics on Sandbox are. If it was fun, if it like made sense, if it could keep people. Minecraft, Roblox, these are the things that are huge. Like really, really flashy, good graphics are so often used to hoodwink players into thinking they're playing an amazing game that really just has nothing unique about it. Unreal as an engine is so good at this point that like it doesn't take anything to get cinematic quality graphics in a video game. What's really hard is to build sticky games that keep their players in there and make them want to spend money to have a better experience. The biggest, best games on the planet are not the ones with the best graphics. RuneScape, Roblox, Minecraft, etc.
I will say Crypto Machinery raises a really good point, but I want to clarify that back in the day, it was about graphics on platforms. But I think if you're PlayStation, if you're Xbox, you've checked the first box of we have a ton of awesome games. And so at that point, I think you can cross a couple of hairs to say our game plays faster, our game looks a little cool. I remember I was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater back in the day, and I got excited when my skater looked more like a real human. But it was first and foremost because the game was fun. I would have played it even if he was a stick figure, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
So
there
good
were
point.
there were other games that were out at the time that, you know, 007 Nightfire and Agent Underfire and all these games were coming on. GoldenEye, like these were games that didn't have, you know, phenomenal graphics even at the time. Like now, of course, you look at them, you can think one thing, you can look at something else, but like, I'm sorry, like I just disagree wholeheartedly. Like as a diehard gamer, graphics are nice, but like good graphics don't make the game. Good graphics are a really plump cherry on top of the sundae of a good game. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't care at all about the graphics. What I care about is, can you keep players? Is there anything in there for retention? And they went through the bear, they didn't do enough, and they bled players. They hemorrhaged their user base, and it's a dinosaur now. So
yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. It is really tough. 20-ish thousand new games launch on Steam every year, just on Steam. The competition is so steep for games. So I think that's really worth pointing out. That's why investing in individual specific games is risky. You know, the things that like I personally look at more are those ecosystems like Avalanche, like Ronin, like honestly, Solana kind of making a play. Sui's making a play. Like these are things that are a little bit more likely. And then stuff like Avalanche has proved that they can, and Ronin has proved that they can retain players and they can churn out quality games. So the couple things that I think we're kind of looking for are a really strong player in the mobile space, and there are good contenders. But like a good strong ecosystem that kind of becomes known for like churning out good mobile games. I don't think we've really seen that so much yet. But yeah, these
Alex,
individual things like, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say before we transition to Super, because I would give Sandbox a terrible grade. Can I just touch this comment from Alata that says, like, what is the future with something like Decentraland or Sandbox? I just want to go back to what you said about like land and NFTs in the metaverse and why maybe we haven't seen that come back. We have a friend at Spatial. We have a couple friends at a place called Spatial, and they have like a free to explore and build in metaverse. Great graphics, great experience.
Favorite example.
And
sure.
And they've made pretty much everything free there. You can buy stuff there, but you don't have to buy land. And their whole thing is, it doesn't make sense to sell someone land in the metaverse where pixels are free and you can travel in a click, so proximity doesn't matter. I don't think that model of like pay to have a digital space is going to make sense. I think what's going to happen is people are going to build cool experiences. They're going to, like a great city would when it starts out, where they build a hospital, they build a couple restaurants, they build a theater. And then when there's stuff to do, people go there. So I think it's going to be kind of like games. Whatever metaverse we go to is going to have stuff for us to do. Land is going to be free. Proximity won't matter. Even if Snoop Dogg is, got a house that you can buy a space next to, it just, you don't need to. So that was my point there. I hope that helps.
I agree. I mean, to your point, Evan, we've talked about Spatial quite a bit. We've worked with, I mean, we were at a huge Spatial event at the Samsung headquarters. That was a cool ass thing. And the point kind of was just awesome. Like, look, if a free metaverse that has all the things and more that these things like Sandbox and Decentraland are offering, and they're not charging you for land, and they're struggling to retain users, why is making it expensive all of a sudden going to do it? Because you're like trapping people into feeling like they're underwater and they got to get something out of it now. That's not a good model.
Yeah, and that's what it's meant to be. Like Pending says there, it's a catchy narrative for somebody who's new to the space. And it was catchy. We weren't really sure where it was going to go at first either. A lot of people who worked here weren't sure where it was going to go. But I think for now, people have mostly decided that evolution of the metaverse is probably not what people. I personally think that the metaverse is going to evolve in the direction of mixed reality. We've been saying that for a long time, where it's digital information overlaid on your real world, like a map when you walk through the grocery store that pops up a coupon, as opposed to totally digital spaces. Until we have something like Neuralink, where you can plug into my sense of smell and my sense of sight and replace my entire experience with something digital as if it were real. Until we get there, it's just gonna be kind of clunky, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a good comment here too, just about how From Maddie. I'm in sales. Metaverse is working on virtual meetings. Was not familiar with gaming. I think that things like that are a really good point, especially because as we're talking about spatial, that's why they started. That's why they initially got
That's right.
their big, funding round from Samsung, $50 million, because they were going to revolutionize, the work from home virtual workspace thing, and they just ended up sort of accidentally stumbling upon the whole Web3 NFT thing. That's why we used it. We built a virtual NFT gallery where you had all this, all the artwork on the walls, and we hosted a gala. It was the first POAP we ever gave out. Had a bunch of people kind of in the room. It was crashing. It was buggy and laggy. It was hilarious. We forgot to lock the 3D models for the weapons.
Oh yeah, so people were just moving stuff around.
So people like picked them up off of the shelves and then
it was
zoomed
fun,
in
though.
on them and blew them up. So you had like a bunch of virtual avatars running around with like a 30-foot long battle axe. Famously, Ali, one of our OG community members, accidentally stole and deleted a picture off of the wall, and everyone roasted her for it for years after that. Like, it was a lot of fun, and no one had to pay a penny for that. And so I always just think of that event, and then I think about like, charging people a ton of money for a smaller, worse, less fun experience with fewer of their friends, and I'm so bearish.
Yeah. And don't get us wrong. We love the idea of overlay of metaverses, of showing people who are in a different location some kind of experience. I think often about restaurants. You've seen maybe, Alex, those menus where they give you some sort of device like a pair of glasses, or you can use your phone to, like, instead of reading the ingredients on the menu, you can see a 3D, like, very realistic model of like what the burger looks like on your plate. I think those kind of things, as the technology continues to advance, they're going to be game changers for sure. No doubt.
Sure. Really quick, I just want to give a quick shout out and acknowledgement to Jay Brew in the chat over on TikTok with some really interesting points. Evan, I think would be a good topic for a future episode, just kind of talking about, especially these large mining facilities and other kinds of data centers and the draw that they have on like local economies and local environments wherever they plan or, end up setting up shop. Not really in the cards for tonight's episode where we're at, but I mean, I would totally do a spot on that in a future episode. We talk about it. We've talked about it before, especially with as we acknowledge, discredit, and, justify is not the word I want, as we talk about like the environmental impact of this technology, because you got to acknowledge it, but also it's not always what it seems. I think that would be interesting. I've never really, I don't know that much about it, but I think that would absolutely be worth looking into. But before I talked about it at any kind of length, I'd want to do some reading.
Same. I'm going to give Jay Brew some applause for that, and also point.
Open invitation, Jay Brew, if you're not in our Discord, I would love to see things that you have to say about this topic when you're not limited by TikTok's like 18 letters per comment limit, which is really, really hard to have a substantive conversation in.
Yeah, and definitely, if you are not in the Discord yet, that's the place you want to be. It's totally free. Even if you've never been into Discord before, or if you felt like Discord wasn't for you, give us a chance. It's discord.gg/riseup. It's right here on TikTok. I'm going to put it down below on YouTube. It is a place full of learners at all levels of experience, and it's the hub for all of our show-related resources. Alex and I and our colleague will hang out there when we're not on the air, and you can ask us any question there. We've got links to YouTube videos. It is full of tutorials, tips, tricks. We try to make it as simple as possible so that even if you're not into Discord, you've never done it before, we'd love it if you gave us a try, because really the community is great. The only thing missing is you. And I do have to give out one more point, because today at the store, I found these Little Debbie Christmas tree snacks. 'Tis the season, and got them for Kimberly, and she just brought me one. So Kimberly, that's a point for you. What do you think? Should we talk about Super, or did you have something else you were gonna?
Yeah, no.
Share?
To be honest, I don't want to spend a ton of time on Super just because it's also in this gaming thing, and I really want to save these things for when Sam is here, because Sam just has the ability to offer so much insight and context into these things that we're just not that well read on. So if you have gaming questions, gaming topics, gaming tokens, gaming ecosystems, anything gaming, you want to know about games that are not released. Sam's probably played them because he knows the team of basically everyone building any game in Web3. That's the place. Whenever he's not under NDA, which he's always under.
How cool, right?
Two.
How cool to be under an NDA with game companies because you're just playing there. It's like Will's friend who's working on GTA 6. Will got a friend working on GTA 6 before we got GTA 6. Can you believe it, Alex? That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, it's very true. Brooke also leaving some very kind words about the fact that we should do public speaking, which I'm not gonna lie, I love public speaking.
We've done our share of public speaking
in any capacity, and recommends the Minimalists. I love the Minimalists. I'm a big fan. Have seen so much of the content. Fantastic. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Do they need a point?
They do. Yeah, the Minimalists definitely get a point.
So we'll touch on Super another time. Machinery was asking, I think, about Supra. We weren't talking about Supra. We were talking about Super. If you missed the airdrop, I'm so sorry about that because that was a long time coming airdrop. And I'd be curious to know how people in that did. If you got the Supra airdrop, let us know in the Discord.
We got to talk to Dave. I know Dave was working hard.
I know Dave got that Supra airdrop. Dave is a great example of how by paying just a little bit of attention and being smart with your time, you can make out like a bandit here. He was early for the Starbucks Web3 stuff, the Solana phone. I mean, Dave is just killing it. He's a POAP collector extraordinaire.
Dave is the number one example whenever I say it's very possible to use Web3 and get paid for it without ever buying anything. Dave is that guy. Dave is that guy.
Man, absolutely. Okay, so we've got CeeLo, C-Pool, Pendle, Prop Chain, and I have Flare on the list, but I say since we talked about it last week, we nix it and go for AIT and Simp if we have time. How do you feel about it? You want to try it? Okay, was there anything among that group of tokens that really jumped out at you? I feel like Pendle is probably a winner, and I've heard of CeeLo. I haven't heard of the other ones. So,
CeeLo, interestingly, has its own category on Deck Screener. You can track a whole bunch of different tokens inside there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
Here.
Its own category? Like Base has its own category? Or?
No. Right here.
Oh, hang on. Let me flip my screen here.
Here, watch this. Hold on. Oh my god. Deck Screener, you're killing me. Here we go. You gotta put the Jeopardy theme song on the soundboard.
Oh my god, I really do, don't I? Oh man. I was gonna ding you for that one, give you a buzzer because you didn't have it ready, but here we are. So here we are. Live TV.
It's a whole bunch of stable coins.
It's a whole bunch of stable coins. Oh, CeeLo is? Alex, you are getting the blue circle of death. Wow, I can't see a thing on that screen. TikTok, I'm not even going to share it with you. It's a long list of tokens, and I'm pretty sure they're all stable coins. Is that right, Alex?
That is correct. They are all stable coins. Yeah, it is. It is a zoomed out list, but we've just got USDT Tether at the top of the list. And then we've got Cellos, or whatever, their wrapped version of the euro, wrapped ether, the Kenyan shilling.
Wow, it's like a collection over here. It's like Will's Pokemon card collection, but the stablecoin version.
A bunch of different dollars.
Oh, and I see why, Alex. Okay, check this out. So Cello, it's a mobile-first blockchain platform designed to make financial tools accessible to anyone with a smartphone. I think I had heard of this before and dismissed it because it sounded scammy, but
no, they've been around for a while.
Do they have a lot of volume or liquidity and stuff? Because I love the mobile-first approach, and I see here that users can pay transaction fees in a variety of currencies. So you don't just have like one gas token, including stable coins.
Yeah, not a tremendous amount of volume, although not insignificant, not nothing. I'm gonna pull it up here on DeFi Llama, and check all of that good stuff. But in case you're curious and want to do a little bit of digging, it's CELO.org. Cello.org is their homepage if you want to
Hang on, I'm
take a
gonna share it
peruse.
with our friends back home here. I do like the website, I will say. I like how clean it is. Build together and prosper. Like, I love that they don't say anything about tokens, earn, nothing like that. Real world solutions, yeah. New digital economy for all. I know exactly what you're doing, even if I don't understand the mechanics of it. I'm into that.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
And you can keep it on the screen there, Evan. Here is the DeFi Llama page. $118.5 million of TVL, and that is down considerably.
Oh, I'd want to know
from
about
its
that.
2021 high, where it had over $1 billion of TVL. So kind of been, churning and bubbling along. Like I said, this was a thing last bull run that a lot more people talked about. But compared to market cap, I mean, I still think that's relatively good. With a market cap of $367 million, a TVL of a third of that. By comparison, especially when you look at something like the XRP or XLM ecosystems, where you have big beefy market caps and itty bitty little total value locked.
Itty bitty living
Brooke,
space.
This is Cello. Evan, did you just reference a movie?
Yeah, that's right.
Give yourself a point.
I'm gonna give myself a point for that. And also, Whoa Damn It says 1 point to Evan because the sound effects are on fire tonight. So I'm coming for you, man. Now, what did Brooke say? I'm sorry.
Just that this asked if this was Cello. This is Cello. And Brooke, Robert Croak is also a mutual of mine, although we've never spoken.
Yeah, me too.
I would be super down to talk to that guy. For anyone who doesn't know, Robert Croak is on TikTok giving, I think, some pretty decent little, business and sort of just general success nuggets, pearls of wisdom. And he also just so happens to be the guy who invented silly bands. So,
silly bands. So a point for Robert Croak.
The dude is a dude. Point for Robert. Would love to talk to that guy sometime. David Baxter asks, did we discuss Superverse? Kinda. I'll recap it for you just because it was really brief. Yeah, basically, Superverse is a super cool ecosystem. It's a super cool ecosystem, and we are going to go into it and all of the gaming stuff way more in depth with Sam, potentially tomorrow morning on the show if we can wrestle Sam away from his busy schedule in Manila. However, if we don't get Sam tomorrow morning, we will get him next week and talk about all the gaming stuff. So save the gaming questions for Sam, because he's going to give you an answer 1,000 times better than I will.
So coming back to Cello real quick, I looked up the question of like, why has the TVL dropped off and like, where is the project right now? And it looks like there are a couple of different factors. So first of all, it got caught in the DeFi bubble. In 2021, there was a big time DeFi bubble. Everybody was doing DeFi stuff. And there were a lot of high yields. There were a lot of investors who may not have known what was going on, and the market corrected. There have also been some interesting security breaches that affected CeeLo, like the Poly network hack. There has been some issues in regulatory. Oh, it cut off. Sorry. I'm talking to GPT and asking it to give me the TLDR, but it looks like mostly it's Oh, hang on. Let me check one last thing. Refresh this. See if I can't get this. I'll tell you what, if you aren't using ChatGPT, the most recent version, the paid version, to do some, it's the internet search has gotten better. And I think they're intuitive, like knowing us. I don't know about you, Alex, but mine starts to ask me better follow-up questions now. Like when I have my super prompt for like explaining stuff or making video scripts, it'll automatically ask me when I ask it a question, it'll be like, do you want me to turn this into a video script for you? And I'm like, well, yeah, I actually would like that.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like it suffered from a decrease in on-chain activity after people started to sell off the token. Looks like there were some token unlock events. There were some security concerns. Poly network, good dollars reserve pool got hacked, and that undermined a lot of confidence in CeeLo-based protocols. And
worth noting, as you can see on the screen here, market cap 367, fully diluted valuation, meaning what the market cap would be if every token in the total supply was circulating. is not quite twice that, but pretty close, implying that only a little bit more than half of the tokens are in circulation right now, which is definitely something you want to be aware of.
And honestly, this is a competitive niche, right? Like,
yes,
you're competing against Tether, which is, and also
bold
Tron
strategy, Cotton.
as a network, they have tremendous stablecoin volume. So this is a really tough nut to crack. It's definitely big enough for multiple people to do it. But if I was looking at the Cello token as an investment, I don't know, Alex, I would maybe give it like a C. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of the letter grade that I was about to land on for it. To your point here, pulled up on the screen share. This is Tron's TVL. You can see 7.5 billion with a B. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, read it out for me. Save me for myself.
We're looking at Tron's TVL, which is just an interesting one that I like to remind people of, just because we really don't talk about it that much in the United States, but big on the global stage, and I would say, worth noting, probably decently manipulated. Because the guy at the helm is real rich.
Yeah, and if you want another soap opera for the crypto stories, you just do a deep dive on Justin Sun. If you're an OG in the crypto space, I already know you're smirking at home. But he's a colorful character, dubious, interesting, well-spoken, well-funded, and one of the most powerful people in crypto, bar none. So do yourself a favor and look up his story. It'll teach you a lot about the history of our space.
Big fish for sure. Well, Evan, we went through, I think, pretty much everything on that list. I think there was.
We got two more. We got prop chain and we got Pendle. Do you want to pick one or the other? We could leave it up to the audience, and then we also had a request for AIT for Simp. And if you're here, maybe we fit one more. What do you think?
If we're efficient, I will say I am pooped. So
I'm pooped too.
I don't know how many we're gonna get through, but Brooke, sorry, FWIW is just internet slang for what it's worth, which was just a reference. If you're trying to DM me, please do it in Discord. If you would,
don't send us DMs unless we ask you to.
Don't DM me on TikTok.
Don't do it.
It's awful.
It's
TikTok
so bad
DMs are real bad, and I get probably 150 a day, and 140 of them are from Calvin Hill. So, and actually, every now and then I get one from Evan.
Yeah, but not me.
Those are always fun. Yeah, no. Please DM me in Discord, not on TikTok.
So you think about which token you want to do. My bet would be on Pendle, just because I feel like it's substantive. I have no idea what prop chain is, and we can at least give people some education. But I want to do two things first from the comments. The first one is, I have got to give another point to Crypto Machinery, who said, and he's known as Justin's son. Not even by his own name. I gotta look him up. That is Justin Sun, like the one that shines on the Rise Up Morning Show. And the second one, Alex, is a question that we get a lot and we love to answer. What is the best app to buy crypto with? And what type of wallet is best? I want to say, first of all, Zach Milton, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And if you're like Zach and you're curious about, what wallet to use, you want to learn a little more about just how to start safely with cryptocurrency, then what Alex and I certainly would both recommend is you go to coinbase.com/learn, and that you check out the free Rise Up Discord server. It's at the link right here on the screen, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's right down here. These are free resources that are going to teach you just about everything from the top to bottom. Coinbase.com/learn is more like a Wikipedia style thing. They've got articles, entries for just about everything you'd want to know, arranged in a helpful order. And then the Discord server is where you come hang out with us and learners at all levels of experience to ask your questions, share what you know, and we say, rise up together. As far as what type of wallet, there are many good options. Alex, do you have a recommendation for somebody who just wants to get started playing with the mechanics quick and dirty, or a video to refer them to?
Yeah, it's a fluid opinion. I do use a number of different wallets, but right now, I mean, with a bullet, my first place for just like overall best user experience, if you're looking to kind of learn software wallets and connect it to stuff and kind of get used to that whole thing and how it works, it's got to be Phantom right now.
Okay.
Phantom's killing it.
Okay. And quick, software wallet means a wallet that lives on the internet that you access through like your internet connected phone or computer, a web browser. The alternative would be hardware wallets, which are physical devices. For people who don't know, wallet is just the worst name in the world because it makes you think that's where your cryptocurrency lives, but that's not true. Your cryptocurrency is just a record on the blockchain, which is managed by many different computers all around the world. It doesn't physically exist anywhere. What is on your wallet, if it's a hardware wallet, is a record of your private key. That's like your username and password that the blockchain recognizes you by. And when you log into the blockchain, so to speak, you can use that key to authorize the sending, buying, selling of assets. In this case, cryptocurrency. Hardware wallets are more secure by nature than software wallets because they don't touch the internet, but you can screw that up. All that and much, much more is for you to learn on coinbase.com/learn and also in our Discord or at the Rise Up Morning Show, which is live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, about 11 hours from now. We would love to share it with you. So thanks for trusting us to help. I'm going to quick take a look at these comments just to make sure.
Yep, same here. Really quick hello to our dear friend Ethan joining us in the TikTok comments.
Giving him a point.
And I was just having an internal giggle because, for those who aren't familiar, don't remember, don't know, weren't here at this time, Ethan is from Australia, and I'll never forget this one moment where we were all like collectively as a team talking about something and sort of forgot that we have like different colloquialisms in the United States versus in Australia. And Ethan, remind me if you remember what it was. Evan, do you remember which one it was? There was like
no, I remember this moment where we were all having trying to communicate, and I was just gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say, Ethan, what the hell were we talking about? And I don't even remember what he said. Man.
Ethan, if you remember, I'm gonna butcher the story if I try to remember because it's,
yeah, I know, right?
It might have been far out. It was something far out-esque. Oh man.
We'll think of it. He'll comment, or we'll just have to come back next week and you can tell us.
It was just like something that means one thing to an Australian and something basically the opposite to an American. And someone said it, and Ethan was just like, "What the hell? Like, why would you say that to me?" But it was just a classic misunderstanding. Anyway.
Couple quick questions. And Ala asked, do you use mobile or laptop to manage Coinbase and other wallets? You can use either, whatever's simplest for you. The most secure thing to do if you want to be like really moving a lot of money or stuff that's precious to you in crypto is use one laptop or phone to trade all your crypto, and then use a whole nother laptop to do everything else on the internet. Do it on your Wi-Fi network, or use a VPN or a dedicated network. I mean, you can lever your security up all the way to 10, but at the very least, I would say don't go around connecting to crypto exchanges at Starbucks. That's probably not something you want to do. It. If you're doing that, it should only be with like, wallets are free to spin up. So, create a new Coinbase wallet account, fund it with $5, and then go to Starbucks and mint cheap NFTs on Base. Like, that's totally cool. But don't take your wallet that's got all your Bitcoin and log into the Wi-Fi at the hotel and pull it up on your smartphone. Like that's a no bueno kind of thing. You'd lose a point for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Alex. I'm well met. We don't even have to talk about Pendle. I don't know. I feel like we're getting to that point where everybody's tired of talking to us about tokens. They maybe have some more like rapid fire questions. I could be wrong.
I definitely can, share some concise thoughts in the Discord on the altcoin grades thread and channel. Just, then the opinion will live on. I can summarize really quickly just to say
that'd be great. Just to say we did
have to do first impressions on C-Pool and prop chain because I'm not familiar. Pendle is a lot more of a staple, and has, I would say, proven itself a little bit more for me. Just that it's a little bit more of a thing. There's a lot of content out there about Pendle. It's definitely one of those that like has a pretty big fan base on and off social media. There was a quick question just for Wally. Why is Bitcoin up while everything else is down? That's sort of the way that it goes at this stage of the cycle. Bitcoin does its thing, money and attention goes to Bitcoin, and it doesn't really go to the other stuff when Bitcoin is discovering a new price. From there, typically, Bitcoin will establish some sort of new range and correct or chill. Money will leave it and go into the alts. That's when they go. You don't usually see everything go all, hardcore all at once. So generally, that's kind of how the system, or how the cycles flow. But subject to change. Past success is not indicative of future results.
That's right. Fact check yourself, brother. Exactly. Somebody asked about abs.xyz. I had not heard of it before. It looks like a layer 2. And, layer 2s, there's lots of room for all of them. I would say about a new layer 2, the kind of thing I would say about Pendle. Pendle, for people who don't know, it's a DeFi play, and they're trying to advance new DeFi primitives. Every L2 is taking a different approach to scaling Ethereum. Like there's some things we know and love. We know and love Ethereum. We love that it gives us the ability to launch tokens and non-fungible tokens of all different kinds. We hate that it's slow. We love that it's secure. We hate that it's expensive. So L2s are all taking different approaches, like it looks like Abstract is, to solve this problem. They're using zero knowledge, whereas Optimism was using optimistic rollups. Pendle is doing, future yield tokens, whereas Aave is doing, OG liquidity pools that are so deep you could swim in them like Scrooge McDuck. I would need to look more closely to give it a real good grade, but I can already tell you it's solving a real problem. It probably is generating revenue. So I probably would be interested in looking at it. I don't know about you, Alex, but I would love to give a final grade to do a pick of the night. I'd like to ask our audience for their pick of the night. I'd like to award the trophy. There's still time for some last minute points, but I'd like to award a trophy. And then I think we can ride our dogs and ponies off into the night. So we're not done yet, but I just want to let you know this might be, if you got something to say it now. Now, Alex, are you ready to tell me what you think your pick of the night might be?
Yeah, I think so. I think that tonight my pick of the night goes to Optimism.
Oh, wow. I can't say I'm surprised, but tell me, Alex, why Optimism?
Tell me why.
It's really just because, and listen, I know that I'm a curmudgeon and I have a reputation for being boring when it comes to crypto, but the layer 2 narrative, like the layer 2 conversation and the great layer 2 experiment, I just think is super interesting. Optimistic rollups are, here and so far a valid, attempt at the solution, at the fix to the Ethereum problem. They have achieved TVL. They have achieved adoption. A lot of stuff is using it. Will it be the mainstay solution? I couldn't tell you, but it's a valiant effort. So I guess my pick of the night today.
That's a good pick of the night. Honestly, I am sad not to give it to CeeLo. And I can't believe I'm going to do this, Alex, but it'll be a surprise to nobody when I say that I agree with you. Optimism gets my pick of the night. A second honorable mention I would give to Lively, and I'll tell you why, because they're solving a problem that's tough to crack. I wouldn't buy any at this time, but I would be interested since I'm already on Warpcast. I'm close to the base ecosystem. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for all these tokens. Definitely. But that would be maybe my second pick. Some picks from the comments. Ethicalish says that Christmas tree Little Debbie is my pick of the night. So I'm going to go ahead and give Kimberly another point for that. That's a good pick. I cannot lie. And then what else do we have? Also, The Future is a pick of the night. So that's cool. And Gabe wants a participation trophy. So Gabe, congratulations, man. You absolutely get it. Our friends on YouTube, let's see, did Boardamit give us a pick of the night? And a real quick review. If you missed it, we covered Farcana. We skipped C-Pool tonight, I'm sorry to say, and we skipped Prop Chain, Paul. We didn't see you here. And honestly, Alex and I have had a long week already. But what that means is do write it down in the Discord. I promise you, we will give you our thoughts on it. We're here all the time. This is what we do. And if we did not do your token tonight, jump in the Discord server. It's totally free to join. Discord.gg/riseup. The link is on the screen. Take a little screenshot. We would love to see you there. And we would love to answer your questions or hear your thoughts about tokens, because, you know, that's what we're talking about. We're going to be back tomorrow on the Rise Up Morning Show. And if you missed this episode or want to see previous episodes where we reviewed tokens like AVAX or TON or Velodrome or Arrow, then head to youtube.com/Faceless Labs. It also works if you do Faceless_Labs, and check out the Rise Up After Dark playlist. It's got all the episodes. The only thing missing is you. Whoa, damn it says my pick tonight is Alex, because he really went through it. So thank you very much. In fact, will I'm going to give you a point for that one.
Hey.
Okay, are you ready to hear who the winner for tonight is? I'm going to read you the point totals. This is where we stand. In a tie for last place with 1 point, Ethan Rushbrook, Robert Croak, Jay Brew, and with 2 points, we've got Kimberly for the Christmas snack. I'm actually going to give her a 3rd point because she's the love of my life. And Crypto Machinery got 2 points. Pending also got 3 points, which means, Alex, it's down to you and me. I think you knew this was going to happen because I control the points here. The rules are made up and the points don't matter. But can you believe it? 2nd place tonight goes to me with 5 points, which means your winner with 7 points tonight is Mr. Alex. My dad can beat up your dad, Popovich.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. It's an honor to do a show with you. It's an honor to take 2nd place to you. And next week, hold on to the crown because I'm coming for you.
Don't come for me. I'm officially changing my opinion. These points do matter. I was wrong. I'm definitely the winner, and this makes perfect sense. All is right. Nature is healing.
Gonna need a fact check on that. Fact check yourself, brother. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us. This is another great night. One last time, run into the Discord if you haven't, and be sure to tune back in tomorrow. We'll be here at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Rise Up Morning Show. Helpful news, commentary, and answers to your crypto questions. Until then, my friends, be well, stay safe, and as always, rise up. Oh, snap. The YouTube people get an extra 3 seconds. Bye.